So I am back at it again with Cataclysm Standard. So Herald Shaman has been raising in popularity. It's been putting up some much better results than it did in the first bit of the metagame. Like those first 3-4 days, Herald Shaman seemed interesting, but it didn't really show in the numbers that it was a big force in the metagame. And as I think I'm recording this about, shoot, what is it? It's been about a week and 4 days. So we're like 10, 11 days into this new metagame. And so now Herald Shaman is putting up some numbers and is legitimately in the top tier of standard decks right now. So I'm going to hit it again. Last time I ran this, I went 2-3, which I wasn't super happy with, and then I just didn't really pick it up again. I've seen some variations of the deck go around over the last 10 or so days, and none of them really excited me, so I didn't pick it up again. Now that it's definitely got the numbers to back up that it's a good deck, I'm going to give it a run again and see how we do. I think the first version I played was playing Twilight Egg instead of Witch's Apprentice. So that's, I think, the only change in this deck list from the first one that I played. I'm of the opinion that the metagame is probably settled and kind of shifted from where it was in the beginning of this format rotation, so that this deck is just, I think, much more powerful. And there's also little things like, you know, some of the nuance of play, like how you sequence your cards, things like that, that people kind of figure out. And to be fair, there's not a ton of stuff you can really do differently when you're just heralding Alakir and, you know, trying to get free value off of Cloudstrider. I've kind of come around on Cloudstrider also. I've talked some smack. Me and Homeboy got problems. But I think also part of it is that you got to be playing Ceremonial Clash. Like, Flight of the Firehawk is decent on him, but Ceremonial Clash is just nuts. And I've played against this many times where my opponent has played Cloudstrider, and then I'm like, okay, please have anything but the Ceremonial Clash, and that's what they have every time. And it just blows me out. So, so I'm going to give this a run one more time and see how I do with this. There are some variations of this deck, just to give you guys a little peek at the next version that I'm going to be trying. Witch's Apprentice and Twilight Egg is an interesting way to go. I think Hex is also a really good card, especially considering the amount of egg decks that are in the format now. So there's Warlock Egg, there's Egg Priest, there's Egg Warrior. I've even seen Egg and Shaman. No joke, I've seen that deck. And then Lightning Storm is a really interesting one if you're maybe playing the mirror. I would imagine that you're playing a lot of Shaman mirrors if you're grinding with Herald Shaman. So there's a couple ways to play this deck, but I'm going to go with the one that seems to have the best record from what I have seen of the data I go by, and we're going to see what happens here. And if you are new here, I normally play decks and kind of evaluate the metagame to give you guys an idea of how good decks actually are. Sometimes data shows the decks are good, and then you play them and you're like, this is not really what I was hoping for. Let's go.
Lady Vash versus Anduin. Your life shall bring victory.
Your time ends now.
Pretty reasonable hand, I think, here. Man, they really pared me down here. Let's see. Envoy's a good mulligan away. This could be Quest Priest. Could be Egg Priest, but I think that's a little unlikely. I like Egg Priest a lot, but I don't think it's a very common deck right now. Static Shock, Ritual of Power, fantastic. Question is, do I keep the Elise? I think Elise is generally decently powerful, but nowhere near what she used to be. So it's a little tough. It's not just like the auto keep that it used to be. I'm thinking I'm going to keep her, though. There are definitely more aggressive things I could draw. Yeah, no, we're going to throw her back. And, of course, we're punished with more expensive cards. That's fine. Yeah, Elise is good, but like it can be a little hit or miss sometimes depending on your matchup, and I'm not thinking this is okay. Well, hello again. All right. Yeah, I guess we're meant to have Elise this game. Let's see. So we've got turn 2 Ritual of Power, which isn't incredibly powerful. Oh, so this is definitely Quest Priest with, I mean, this Ruby Sanctum is fascinating. I'm not exactly sure how good it is, but we're going to find out. I guess we can Herald and pass. It's fine and all, but we're not doing anything crazy yet here. And if they want to activate this and use their hero power to get rid of my guy, I mean, that's obviously fantastic for us. I would assume they're going to use this on something very meaningful. I would assume this would be eating, you know, Muradin, Ultraxion, you know, something big and heavy. Ooh, okay. Flight of the Firehawk is a very good card. Playing that would put me at 10 cards here. I'm a little tempted to play this, honestly, because that'll give me a little bit of a power boost here. I would assume that they play for all time the 4-mana spell that destroys all minions with 4 or less attack. But I think that's a fair trade here if they've got that. I mean, if they want to do that for, what is this, 8 attack, I'm not super worried. Sure. Okay, I think Flight of the Firehawk is the play here. Puts us to 9 cards. That's a good one. Yeah, well, this off of Flight of the Firehawk is pretty snazzy. Ooh, we got a Lava Flow. I'm a big fan of Lava Flow. I think that card is really good. It's obviously much better when you can increase it with spell damage of some kind, but I like Lava Flow. It's 6 damage for 3 mana, which is pretty efficient. Unfortunately, the target is... Okay, Medivh's Triumph it is. So Ruby's Sanctum counts as a legendary card. Alright. So it's a rare legendary? What? If you control a legendary card, so maybe the quest counts? Which is fascinating to me. That's actually really interesting. Okay, where to go from here? 5 mana. This guy's also very powerful, so I got to be conscious of their healing abilities now. Let's see.
You dare stand against the evil?
I'll handle this.
I think we're going to do this, because this is going to give me... that's right, okay. It'll get me closer to Muradin's Last Stand, and it also takes away... There we go. And it also takes away some of their aggressive abilities. Because if they've got a minion that gives them... I mean, the benefit of +2 to all their healing spells is already fantastic, but if they can also trade with minions of their choice... Like, I always like to say, you'd rather trade with your opponent's minions by your choice than letting them choose when they attack, so... In this case, I think it's good, especially because it enabled the Muradin's Last Stand, and we get Ultraxion for 3, which means we get Deathwing the following turn, which could be pretty powerful. Intertwined Fate for that guy is totally fine. Yeah, I think we're just going to run this. And this will give this guy 3 attack. Oh no, 4 attack. Snazzy. Another Ruby Sanctum. Oh no. Ooh. Alright, that's cute. That is a pretty good ability. I haven't played against this deck very much, where they're using Ruby Sanctum and some of these other cards, so it's good to get experience against this. Deathwing is not bad here. And I do get to follow it up with Alakir if I really want to. I'm thinking for Deathwing, I'm probably going to go shuffle dragons and make a 12/12 is my guess. Because I don't really care about this guy, obviously. Yeah, let's give it a run. And it makes my hero power so much better. +5 attack is insane. So 12/12 dragon. And shuffle 5 random legendary dragons. Might as well get a random shaman spell while we're at it. Fire Breath, interesting. Yeah, so we've got some decent damage here between Lava Flow and Fire Breath. That's 10 damage for 6 mana. Gotta clear their board for Lava Flow to hit their face, but is what it is. Oh, okay, that's a 1-for-1, which I'm okay with. Alright, so we got Hammer and Avatar form, which is great. So I think... So we get 2 minions with cost equal to this minion's attack, which will be 6. And they're going to cost 1, which is fantastic. So...
I must strike hard.
I think that's the play. And that'll pump this guy a little bit more too. Set the cost of the bottom 5 cards of your deck to 1. Interesting. And this guy. Alright, whatever. They're reasonably sized 1-cost minions, which I can't argue with. Sure. With the flash heal, very nice. Yeah, Ruby Sanctum can be a pretty big problem. It's a good card. So let's see, if I play this, I'm not sure it's the right call here, but that would be 6, so 8, or yeah, 10 plus the additional 2 twice. So you're looking at 14 damage there. That would put them to 12. Actually, I think I'm going to do this in the hero power and drop, that'd be 8 mana, and then I can drop probably this guy. I like that a little better because it makes it a lot harder for them to interact with it. If I drop a bunch of guys here, there's a part of me that doesn't want to drop any minions. I don't think they play anything that can destroy my weapon. I'm pretty sure that's a little fringe to play that guy that does that. And also it would just shuffle back anyway, which is great for me. But they need to heal a bunch. And next turn I can even do hero power plus avatar form, plus some damage spells. So I think we're doing okay here. I can hit for 16, or no, not 6. Yeah, 16 just with this. And then imbue their hero power. Interesting. Yeah, alright. Back to 29, so that's 16. So let's do that. Oop, let's do this. So that's 20. Plus the 4 is 24, 28. I need 1 more from a Fire Breath. There it is. Alright, so that's Heal Priest, which I think is a reasonable deck, but I don't think their stats are very favorable. I think there's something there in that strategy, but I don't think they've figured out the ideal form of the deck. I think they need the right combination of cards. And okay, back after some technical difficulties. Let's go. Game 2. We're sitting 1-0 after Heal Priest.
Your time ends now.
I assume this is going to be Face Hunter. Very unlikely that it's anything else. There is Dragon Hunter, but I think that's really uncommon nowadays. Face Hunter's kind of emerged as the only reasonable Hunter deck right now. What else do we want here? I think we want some more aggressive elements. Nightmare Lord's good, but I think I'm going to try these two together. Cloudstrider can be kind of awkward. It can sometimes just sit in your hand a little longer than you want, but the value could be there. Interesting. And if you are not aware, if your Muradin's Last Stand gets to 4 or less, then it is something you can put on this, even though it starts at 9 cost. So, well then. I could do something silly like coin hero power, static shock my own guy twice. If I get the 1/1, it's not possible, but if I did that, then I could attack this for 2, but that's just completely unreasonable here. Sometimes it's fun to think about these silly plays. Yeah, pretty sure this is Face Hunter. Not much else it could be at this point. Skywall Sentinel, not bad.
You dare stand against the weak?
I'll handle this.
I think we're chilling here. Now we are going to have to race them at some point, but it really depends, I think, on their draw. Ooh! Arrow Retriever for 1 card. Interesting. When I've played Face Hunter, I normally like to reserve this guy for drawing 2 or more cards, because it's just so much value. Okay, so Static Shock's very reasonable now. We can get rid of this. We can get rid of this. Get rid of this guy, and we get to draw a card and have a board presence.
The sounds
Very nice.
and I listen.
That was a good turn. Took us some damage, but it's okay.
Our curse is our salvation.
Ooh, okay, that's not good. So Gen can be a problem, because that hero power is nuts. It's basically lightning bolt on a stick, which I don't like. I think Envoy is reasonable here. Like, if I play Muradin, then I'm just attacking once. I get the hammer to my hand, though, which is definitely something, and that would help. Yeah, I'm kind of selling myself on Muradin here, because the Wind Fury on the weapon would make this available much sooner. I think that's a really... Yeah, that's a pretty big factor here, I think. So, gonna do that and trade. Yeah, it's really important to answer their threats, so... As good as Envoy is, I don't think it answers the threat as much as that play is. Ooh, into Neri, hello. Seems pretty good. Yeah, and as suspected, this guy's just chilling in my hand. It's my main gripe with Cloudstrider is you just sit on it sometimes, and it's amazing on curve. You play it on turn 3 and you put a 4-cost spell on it. It's bonkers, but when it's not good, it's not good. So Neri can really be a problem here. I think my only 2 reasonable plays are Envoy or Nightmare Lord. Nightmare Lord, I could get... I'm trying to think of what I would get, like, that would have charge. Or that would be good with charge. It would have to cost 1 mana, Wailing Vapor. I guess I just can't get there with Nightmare Lord, so... This is fine. And I kind of feel like I should attack this here. So what's the worst case scenario here? They have maybe an arcane shot that takes this guy out. They hero power. They attack me for some. Maybe play another minion. There's a lot of bad things they could do here. Yeah, we're gonna do this. Saves us a little bit of damage off the hammer if I choose to go hammer this and then hammer their face, as opposed to just attacking it twice. Okay, well that takes care of Envoy, so we're taking some damage this turn, sadly. Ooh boy, okay. Yeah, this is what I'm talking about. Neri is rough. With the Arrow Retriever, yeah, they're living the dream over there. That's crazy.
No quarter for traitors.
And this is another reason why some versions of this deck play Lightning Strike, because you can just take this whole board out in one fell swoop. Okay. And both these guys got poisonous. Yeah, I don't know that I can justify hammer here. That's rough. No matter what I do here, I'm in a pretty bad spot. So I could go hammer here and here, throw this guy like over here, I guess. It's not great though, so that would be taking these three out. They would be left with 10 attack, 13 with their hero power. They just need 3 more damage from somewhere. Yeah, this is rough. Okay. Well, we're gonna do what we can do, I guess.
Taste my sting.
And we'll do that. But yeah, taking the damage just puts me in lethal territory, so yeah, that's the way it goes. Alright, 1-1. That's the way it goes. It was a good draw for them. They were aggressive initially, I was a little slow initially, and the Neri into other things. I mean, double Arrow Retriever is insane, so it does make sense. Yeah, well played. Alright, so 1-1. Let's see what other kind of shenanigans we can get into here. Alright, let's go. Alright, we're getting a good mix of heroes in this round of games.
Get going. Your time ends now.
So there are a couple different warrior decks that are good right now. So Herald Warrior is a thing, Dragon Warrior, there's Egg Warrior, there's Arena Warrior. Like, Warrior is a really good class right now. So it's going to be a little tough to assess how to play against them until we get some information. But there are, you know, dead giveaways like Holy Egg Bearer or Dark Rider. Okay, so Dragon Warrior it is. Yeah, Dark Rider is a dead giveaway for dragons. And I'm thinking I'm going to Static Shock and Primordial Overseer this turn. I think that's a reasonable play here.
The sands speak. Taste my listen.
Into Flight of the Firehawk. That's a good one to put on Cloudstrider, so that works. So next turn is interesting, because between Ritual of Power and Skywall Sentinel... Huh. Okay, so no minions is interesting. So no Broodkeeper, no Petal or nothing. So I think we're going to do this. Yeah, this is a great draw. This is part of why Herald Shaman is as good as it is. But thinking about Ritual of Power versus Sentinel, for example, if they played a threat on turn 2, and I had played this guy, then turn 3 I could do this and play 1 elemental, which would limit my ability to attack back on things. Because they didn't do anything, they don't have any forward momentum. But had they played a minion, I probably would have played Ritual of Power instead of Sentinel, so that on turn 3, if this wasn't the play, then I could throw 2 guys out there, hit something for 4, or 2 things for 2, plus this guy just gives me more options. So, yeah, I think I'm tempted to just sit here without attacks, as sad as that is. I could Ritual of Power, and I go 4, 5, 6. Nah, that just seems bad. I think we're going to do this for the Flight of the Firehawk, and we're going to give them an attack with their guy. Now, if they have like a Precursory Strike on my Sentinel, and then attack the 4/4, that would be a little rough.
Feed my children.
Broodmother, very good card. Okay.
Feed my children.
Whew, into double. Let's go. Oh, I was gonna say, come on now. You gotta have a 2-drop after that. This is a nature spell, so it does power out Primordial Overseer, but I think that's probably a play for next turn. Let's do this. And that allows me to go like this. Jeez. That's pretty good. And let's see what spell we get off of this first. Healing Rain. Alright, interesting spell. Some versions of Shaman even play this, surprisingly. And I think we go attack, attack. Yeah. I think we're just going to get rid of this guy outright and then smack their face for a little. So now Muradin's Last Stand is super powered up. Plus the Primordial Overseer, so we've got a ton of draw. Ultraxion to follow up on turn 6.
Brace yourself for destruction.
This will come higher to his glory.
Pretty good, okay. Interesting. Not trading here is fascinating.
Sunstream.
I think we gotta do some trades here. Envoy, another Muradin's Last Stand. Hello. Yeah, kind of hard not to. Okay, lots of gas. It's going to be a 3/4, which I guess is okay here.
And I listen.
Into a Static Shock, very nice. And I think I'm going to take the hit and just get rid of this guy. That really helps the board position here. Yeah, that was a good turn. I mean, double Last Stand is always amazing. Aye, there's the Slither Drake, okay. just got a little tougher.
Such choices.
I don't hate Envoy here. If they've got the Precursory Strike, they can use that and this to get rid of it and then just smack my face for 6, which would be unfortunate. But I do like the difference in cards. I've got 7 cards in my hand to their 3. So I'm thinking this is a reasonable position.
Death itself draws near.
I'll handle this.
I think we'll go like this. That is 6. I'm tempted to hit this guy, but I think I need to also make progress on their life total. It's always a tough one with the Slither Drake, because if somebody's got well-timed removal with the Slither Drake, then it's really tough to beat. The fact that this guy's got elusive is bonkers. Just actually crazy. Whoo! Okay, I'm very okay with that. That makes that guy way easier to manage. Sure.
You were destined to fail.
What? Okay, that doesn't make a lot of sense. Maybe they just confused which Wailing Vapor I played last turn, but that was an interesting one. I mean, they got it off of Shadow Flame Suffusion, but very interesting.
Such choices.
Many, many choices. I'm thinking Ultraxion's not bad. However, Nightmare Lord's also pretty reasonable. This would just heal me for 8. It's nice to have this in my back pocket. I think that's going to come in handy. Yeah, I think we're just going to do this. Gonna have to get rid of this guy. And I could trade here. This is actually not a bad board if I trade. Yeah, I think I'm gonna go for the trade. I think attacking their face is reasonable. I think either is fine. But in this case, having priority of the board against Dragon Warrior is pretty valuable. Because the main thing for Dragon Warrior is momentum. If they can maintain a good board state and continue to throw cards at you like Slither Drake, Windpeak Worm, etc., then I think that's the main way they just have these overwhelming victories. So I always try to balance hitting them in the face with maintaining the board, because they can get out of hand quick. Like, okay, this is fantastic for me. Oh my lord. Okay, this is actually incredible. I'm pretty sure we're just set. We've got all the Cataclysms. Yeah, that was a huge draw right there. Deathwing is an incredible card. So much value. So yeah, it really paid off to manage their board state, making sure they couldn't get some momentum with their minions, and here we are. I can't imagine what tools Dragon Warrior has that would deal with this. Like, sure, that's totally fine. I mean, these guys deal 2 damage apiece. What? And they're getting rid of their own guys? Yeah, okay, sure. I don't think they knew what they were doing either. So 2-1. Alright, Death Knight up next. Really good mix of heroes. I like this. It's always good to have a good mix of heroes in your testing because it gives you some good results across the board. I think this is okay. I think there's enough nature spells that Overseer is a reasonable keep. And this can also give me a nature spell. So Death Knight is an interesting one. I think the only Death Knight deck that you have to worry about is Unholy, the Grave Strength aggro deck.
That didn't go as...
I'm assuming that's what we're playing against. Wow, we got For All Time. That could be helpful if this is the aggro deck.
Against me.
Nothing like a slow-playing aggro player. I mean, I kind of hope they're not the Grave Strength deck, because it's a pretty annoying deck to play against. They're very powerful. It's a good deck, but I'm not a huge fan of decks that are just like, play guys, pump guys, attack. Like, it's fine, but I'm a little tempted to play this just raw without the bonus. It gives me something for some forward momentum. However, it is kind of meh. Especially considering next turn is likely just Flight of the Firehawk pass. I think it's okay. Right. Yeah, you got to really balance being a stickler for value sometimes. There are times when you're like, you know what, having a body is better than not having a body, so I'm not getting max value, so, you know, there is that. But I think in this case, it is still reasonable for me to put up some good momentum with Flight of the Firehawk and then turn 4 being aggressive. You know, this could be the play as well as many other things off of this. But I do see that a lot where people are just a stickler for the value and they're like, you don't ever play this unless you played a nature spell. And that's just wrong sometimes. Cool. Okay, like that. That's reasonable. Into a lava flow. So I just not getting any nature spells, but these are all reasonable cards to have. I think it's safe to say this is not the aggro deck. Yeah, okay. So this is just Herald the Death Knight, which is a pretty good deck. But I don't think the stats are super great. Grave Strength, is, as far as I can tell, is the only deck that has a win rate over 50%.
Such choices.
So not a lot of good options here. Most of the things I want to do would overload me and then hinder my next turn. So like, this is a good card. Seems reasonable here. That's a little loose. Lava Flow could be okay, but not super great. I think there are better options for that. Maybe I just Nightmare Lord. I think we just Nightmare Lord, especially considering it's a 6/6. Triggering this twice is fantastic, actually. I like that a lot. Yeah, we're going to do that. Because that's, yeah, that seems great.
Cooking up something special.
Another Technician, okay. Technician is a pretty good card. It's Especially considering, you know, their Herald ability costs them life, so... Sheesh, and the Yester Lock is in play. For all time seems very reasonable now. As much as I want to Envoy, that's a lot of value to just get rid of everything. And I get to keep my 6/6. I actually don't hate this. And the whole point of this Death Knight deck is to create value with the free cards that they get, since they cost health instead of mana, so it takes away their ability to gain more life with the 2/5. So this could be good. I kind of like this guy. The Treacherous Tormentor seems like it's got a lot of potential. It doesn't see a ton of play, but it seems like a good card. So Lava Flow will overload 1, that'll leave me with 6 mana next turn. Yeah, I think we're gonna run it. Yeah, stifling their momentum here is a little helpful. Obviously, they can just hero power and take out my 6/1. Okay, then. That's fascinating. You don't see Overlord Runthak very often. I've played this guy quite a few times because I have a soft spot for the hand pump style decks, but that's crazy. I have not heralded very many times, so I think it's reasonable to, I guess, prioritize that. Yeah, let's do the double herald one.
I'll handle this. Brothers, I'll handle this.
Ooh, that's pretty good. Yeah, and with Wind Fury Divine Shield, that was really heavy for them. Wow. Talk about a board. This is an interesting spot now. Like, this guy's definitely given them a ton of value so far. And if they've got Deathwing, then that would be very problematic. So, how do we try and counter that momentum is the question. I think Taunt is the way to go. 2 of these guys is okay. Like, you could potentially do that and Ceremonial Clash, I guess. I kind of want to do this because drawing Deathwing would make a huge swing here. And if it costs less, obviously that's amazing. So we're at least doing one of these. Yeah, I think we're going to do this. Cool. Okay. That worked out very well. That's a good board. Ah, they had it. Oh, they had it. Alright, nothing you can do about that. so this is... Oh, that rogue minion that copies the last minion your opponent played. Jeez, just blowout turnover there. Alright, yeah. I think they got us. Yeah. That's crazy.
Impressive.
Yeah, nothing you can do about that. Alright, so 2 and 2. Not awful. To be fair, 60% is a reasonable win percentage, so if I go 3 and 2, still in the ballpark of what a reasonable standard deck should be doing. Alright, here we go. Another Death Knight. Oh boy.
The Lich King.
I was hoping for Druid somewhere in this. As surprising as it is not to play against Imbue Druid, I guess I should be happy. I don't hate this hand, but it is a little slow. Thinking maybe I do this. Alright, a little less slow.
That didn't go as...
I'm sorry, what? Alright, we'll see if that matters. Typhoon is a thing.
You dare stand against the weak?
I'll handle this. Ribbit, ribbit, ribbit.
Ooh. Okay. Very tempted just to throw out the avatar form. Because if I don't, I mean... Yeah, this is also one of the issues with Cloudstrider, is you have to choose a spell, so...
Such choices.
If I do this and choose avatar form, and then it triggers on their turn, it's going to give one of my guys +2 attack, and then I just essentially have no value because I can't attack on their turn. Yeah, it's not great, but I'm just gonna do this. It's definitely better than the Cloudstrider there, unfortunately. Mm-hmm. Oh, they just play Caretaker? What? Sure.
I remember this place well.
Alright, let's play Elise and get something good. 2 Raptors is reasonable. Since this location ended up having 2 uses, the Death Rattle version is fairly reasonable, but I think Raptors are ideal here. And we can still do that. If I have something good to put on this, I could always do the 3/3, but +2 attack to my characters seems like the play. Yeah, I think the 2 best options there would have been Death Rattle or +2 to all characters, so... Oh boy. Alright, Deathwing it is. It's Terror Runner Envoy. I think Terror Run is better because it will also power out Last Stand faster. So we're going to just run this. So we'll get rid of that guy. And I'm thinking maybe I pop this guy just so that they only have the 4/4. I can't imagine there's anything crazy they could do with this that pumps their board. You know, giving it attack or something seems very unlikely.
Taste my sting.
Yeah, it seems pretty unlikely, so I'm just going to chill here. I think them having a 0/2 with potential is probably better for me than having a 4/4, which is actualized potential.
Death itself draws near.
Sure.
Missed a spot.
Cloudstrider on Firehawk along with Muradin's Last Stand seems reasonable. I gotta trade both my guys for their Envoy to do that, which I guess is okay. I'm not happy about it though.
Blaze a trail.
Since I've got Deathwing and Ultraxion, I'm pretty sure I just gotta run Ultraxion ASAP. But it is only 2 less, so it'll cost 8. I guess that's on curve, so I can go this on turn 7, this on turn 8. And that will be the one more Herald I need in order to do 2 Cataclysms. Oh boy. Alright, we got some guys, that's good. Trying to think of what merit there is in heralding more times. I think just getting to Deathwing is pretty strong by itself, so a lot of times whoever gets to Deathwing first is just the winner. And doing this will also get pumped by this, so yeah, that'll give me 5, which I can attack this guy with, which is great. So do that. This, and I think we go here. Ooh, I like Spirits of the Forest. Very interesting card. Not sure it's something you can like play in your deck, but I'm never unhappy to see it when it comes up on Discovers and stuff like this. Okay, so I think we just Deathwing and we're going to do 12/12 and Shuffle Dragons, because I don't want to break this guy. That's just giving them something that I don't think they are going to be able to do themselves. 12/12 Dragon. And shuffle. And should they do anything crazy, I've still got the Typhoon at the ready, which is kind of nice. So if they, a lot of times these Death Knight Herald decks, they play Onyxia, and then they want it to die because then they can use Memoriam something, which gets back their highest cost undead. So it gets back Onyxia, and then they get more value from it. So I think being able to shuffle it away should be a great advantage. Destroy the top 3 cards of your deck. Sure. No, you know what? We're going to do this. Along with our hero power. So now we can do this and this. They can make sure they take 12. Ooh, and they're burning good cards too. That's awesome. I guess we'll do this with Ceremonial Clash. Take 14. Kaboom. And we're gonna chill here, I think. I don't think we really need to play anything else there. Especially considering they might play something crazy that I might need a Typhoon, so why run more of my guys into it? Sure. Okay, so they're at 17. I have 10, 15. This will be another 2. Yeah, looks like we got them. Alright, so ended 3 and 2. Very reasonable finish. It is a sign of a decent deck to go 3 and 2 in just a 5-game stretch. It's very normal. Going 4 and 1 and 5 and 0 is where you start to find, you know, really crazy decks. Like I went like 8 and 1 the first time I played Imbue Druid. So obviously that shows that there's just an incredible amount of power there. Going 3 and 2 compared to going 2 and 3, big difference there just in terms of viability of the deck. So I like going 3 and 2 with this deck. Obviously this is a tier 1 deck from standard, so 60% is a very reasonable win rate, and this just kind of proves it for me. I like I said before, I wasn't super happy with this deck, so I have one more version I'm probably going to play. And I think this deck is very reasonable to be playing. Like, for example, I've got a couple tournaments this weekend, just little cash online tournaments that I'm going to be playing. And I'm very tempted to play Herald Shaman. Only problem is I've seen a lot of people play Herald Shaman. So quick little aside, in my tournament experience so far, just the last couple of weeks with this, or the last week or so with this metagame, it seemed like most people were playing Herald Shaman as well as Imbue Druid and one other deck. That other deck, a lot of times, was something Warrior, sometimes Face Hunter, things like that. So I think Herald Shaman and Imbue Druid are like the 2 decks that are like very reliable, very reasonable to be playing. They have aggressive elements, and they also have some other things that they can do. Sometimes, like with Herald Shaman, because you play Deathwing, because you play these cards that discover other cards, sometimes you can play a little bit more mid-range or control. And Imbue Druid is just a monster. So having something to round that out, with a third deck like a Herald Warrior or Arena Warrior, something a little bit more control-y that can kind of counteract other stuff that your opponents are doing, makes for a pretty good trifecta of decks. So yeah, that's Herald Shaman. I appreciate you guys watching. If you're already following, big thank you. Feel free to comment what you think. I respond to every single comment on here, and lots of other videos on the channel of other decks that I'm playing. I try to play pretty much everything that interests me. Like I was playing Elemental Shaman for a hot minute. Seemed great at first, but it's kind of fizzled a little bit. I think as the metagame gets a little more solidified, little fringe decks like that are a little bit harder to make work. So I'm going to keep playing with it here and there, but I'm not sure Elemental Shaman is the pick for this metagame. But there's a lot of things out there, so definitely don't be afraid to innovate. I think if there is a time to innovate, it is now. after the metagame has gone through the Wild West of like format rotated, everybody's like, what should I play? What cards are good? We don't know. Well, now that we've got some data, we can go, okay, where's the hole in the metagame? How do we innovate and make something that is going to take the metagame by storm? Because now that we have a solidified metagame, we have an idea of what we're playing against. And from there, you can start to try and just flank that and hit it from an angle that someone hasn't thought of yet. So just my thoughts. Appreciate you guys. Peace and love.